Hello, this is Caffeine Blues, video 4, and we're on page 8 of the Introduction to Caffeine Blues, paragraph 1. This case is not an isolated incident. Over the years, I have counseled hundreds of patients who could trace the beginnings of their chronic pain to a time when they started drinking large amounts of coffee. Often it was during their college years or when they started working in an office. And usually there was the vicious cycle of coffee and stress. Perhaps you have found yourself in a similar situation. Unsafe at any speed. Newspaper and magazine articles appear every week, identifying some health risk associated with caffeine. Invariably, however, they conclude with the absurd statement that moderate intake is no problem. The fact is that no scientist can tell you how much caffeine is safe for you to ingest because the effects of caffeine differ significantly from person to person. From man to man, from woman to woman, from boy to boy, from girl to girl, and from it to it. A multitude of individual differences, or as I like to say, différences individuelles, enter the picture, including age, weight, sex, and numerous biochemical, psychological, and emotional factors. What is tolerable for one person may be excessive for another. Moreover, what is tolerable caffeine intake at one point in your life may actually cause health problems just a few years later. If this sounds strange, Ferris Bueller's teacher, if this sounds strange, remember that caffeine is a drug with cumulative effects over time. Also keep in mind that of the thousands of research papers that have been published on caffeine, none have concluded that caffeine is good for you. Rather, the continuing debate in the popular and scientific press focuses entirely on the degree to which caffeine is injurious to your health and mine. Caffeine Blues will help you understand how your body works. With the right care, the human body is designed to last 100 years or more. But most of us fall apart after age 60 and die in our mid-70s. I have drawn upon 30 years of clinical and research experience and will give y'all graphic case histories culled from thousands of client files. But in the final analysis, you, plural and or singular, are the only scientist who matters, and the only laboratory you need is your body. Health risks are rarely self-evident. Oh ja, das machen wir später. For a cigarette smoker, the destruction of lung tissue occurs silently over many years. Until one day it's too late. Likewise, the first overt consequence of a high-fat diet is often a fatal heart attack. As a society, we therefore make education about such health issues a priority. In my equation E=mc², we put warnings on cigarettes and encourage sensible eating. But I would like to remind you of a sobering fact. Colonel Klink, cigarette companies fought successfully for years against warning labels and only recently admitted that nicotine is addictive. Sergeant Schultz. Herr Kommandant, the caffeine industry has refused even to disclose the amount of caffeine in their products. I know nothing. Big business watches bottom line profits and addiction to any, Walter Cronkite, addiction to any substance means higher levels of consumption and more product sales. The caffeine industry knows this better than anyone else. And that's the way it is. Thursday, the 23rd of January, 2014. This is Walter Cronkite, CBS News. Good night. Moving right along on page 9 of Caffeine Blues, it reads, Caffeine alternatives. There is hope, eh? Caffeine Blues presents a credible and carefully researched argument against the habitual consumption of caffeine, but unlike other health exposés, it will not leave you feeling helpless. This book will give you a new view of life after caffeine is seen through the eyes of former coffeeholics. I'm keenly aware that coffee plays a major role in most people's life. God bless you. Without their David Brinkley. Without the morning wake-up cup and the mid-morning and mid-afternoon jolts, most of my clients were concerned that they would not be able to function effectively. These concerns led to my next research project, finding safe and effective alternatives to caffeine. I scrutinized botanical tests, ran hundreds of Medline computer searches, and ultimately traveled to 3 continents, researching every legal substance purporting to have energy-enhancing effects. This research was a real eye-opener. There was a tremendous amount of misinformation, especially concerning so-called herbal energizers. Most like guarana, kolanut, yerba mate, and mahuang ephedra turned out to be nothing more than plant sources of caffeine and other stimulant drugs. The mode of action is exactly the same as coffee, namely stimulation of the central nervous system resulting in adrenal stress. The fact that these stimulant products are found in health food stores and claim to be all natural is simply part of the hype that fills the energy market. These quote-unquote alternatives to coffee are thoroughly debunked in Chapter 7. Let me state this clearly. A substance that purports to give you energy by stimulating your nervous system ain't giving you nothing. It's harming you. Using stimulants is like whipping a horse. They work for a short time but prove disastrous when used repeatedly. My goal was to find substances that would nourish the body, not stress the adrenals, substances that would enhance the metabolic efficiency of the body, in order to fulfill our inherent potential for vitality and wellness. Eventually, I discovered a group of substances with true energizing properties, just as a tune-up can enhance the efficiency of your car's engine. This group of vitamins, minerals, herbs, coenzymes, and organic acids can dramatically improve your body's production of energy. And I'm not just talking about energy in the sense of strength, stamina, and endurance. Imagine every cell in your body operating at a higher level of efficiency, including your immune system, brain, and nervous system. This tune-up has already changed countless lives, and you too can experience the exhilaration of peak vitality and what I call high-level wellness. It's ironic that all the things you thought you could get from caffeine can in fact be obtained only by getting off of it. These breakthrough alternatives are presented in detail and supported with abundant scientific evidence and medical references in Chapter 10. I'll show you how to quit coffee by drinking delicious, satisfying, healthful alternatives and rebuild your natural abundant energy supply without harmful